These are my top 10 hamster cages for 2016. At number 10 is the Kerry Terrarium, which is 90 centimetres wide, 45 centimetres deep and 45 centimetres high. This comes in at number 10 because of the price, which is about £150. It's basically a 90 centimetre by 45 centimetre glass tank, but it has big front opening doors which are good for access. It's suitable for either Syrian or dwarf hamsters, has ventilation ducts at the front and a mesh top. The mesh is quite fine and can be chewed, so this would need keeping an eye on if you had a real chewer of a hamster. You could make a new mesh top for it, but at this price you probably wouldn't want to. A cheaper glass tank option might be a second-hand 4-foot fish tank, which will need a DIY lid making out of wood and mesh. The Kerry Terrarium is available in the UK, Europe and the US. At number 9 is the Alaska cage from Zooplus. This costs approximately £33 and measures 84 centimetres wide by 48.5 deep and is 44 centimetres high. It meets the minimum recommended size for a hamster cage, has a large front opening door so access is good, and it's tall enough to fit a 12-inch wheel. The house that has 2 holes in the front on the shelf isn't good for a Syrian as the holes are too small, but the shelf is fine without the house and the house can be easily removed. Bar spacing is approximately 1 centimetre. Because it's fairly tall, the base could do to be filled as deep as possible with substrate to cushion any falls. It's a good basic budget cage. Some people say the bars are a bit flimsy, but generally it's considered a good cage and suitable for Syrian hamsters. It's available in the UK and Europe. At number 8 is the Living World Green Eco Habitat. This is available from Zooplus and Amazon. It's one of the biggest commercial habitats you can get for a hamster in the UK, but is only at number 8 because it's over £100. It comes in 3 sizes, small, medium and large. The medium size has internal measurements of 95 centimetres by 55 centimetres and an internal height of 49 centimetres. The large size is a massive 115 centimetres wide by 75 centimetres deep internal and is also 49 centimetres high internally. It's made from perspex and rubber wood. The ventilation holes down the side are about 1 centimetre in diameter and the ventilation slots on the top are about 2 centimetres, so the top could do with meshing to prevent escapes. Being a tank style, you could easily fit 25 centimetres of substrate in there to encourage tunnelling, and there's plenty of height for an 11-inch or 12-inch Syrian wheel. This cage is suitable for both Syrian and dwarf hamsters. The plus points are it is a great size, it has wheels, and you can get a good view of your hamster. The minus points are the cost and a bit of DIY involved with meshing the top and painting the wood with Plasticoat pet-safe waterproofing paint, plus the base needs some kind of waterproof liner. This is available in the UK and Europe. At number 7 is the Alexander cage from Zooplus. This is a 100 centimetre cage that costs about £69. It's a great cage but only comes in at number 7 because Zooplus have another 100 centimetre cage now that's a bit more reasonably priced and, in my opinion, a bit easier to set up, and that's the Barney cage, which comes later. The Alexander comes with shelves that make a kind of racetrack level and 3 houses. One house has a small round window that isn't suitable for a Syrian and is a risk for getting their head stuck, so if it's for a Syrian, that house could do to be removed. There is quite a drop from the top of the cage through the gap in the shelf, so the cage needs setting up carefully to prevent any falls. An additional shelf higher up blocking the gap might help. You can fit an 11-inch or 12-inch Syrian-sized wheel in this cage by removing the centre platform at the back, but again you might need an additional shelf over the wheel to help prevent falls. The Alexander has 7mm bar spacing, but in some places it's larger than that, up to 1 centimetre. It's suitable for Syrian and larger dwarf hamsters, but needs setting up carefully for dwarf hamsters to prevent falls and could really do with having a full level. The Alexander cage is available in the UK and Europe. At number 6 is the Marchioro Goran. This one is for US hamster owners. It's no longer available in the UK, but it is still manufactured in the United States. The Goran is actually a rat cage, but very good for Syrian hamsters. It measures 32.25 inches, about 82 centimetres wide, by 20 inches deep, which is about 50 centimetres, and it's about 16.5 inches high, or 42 centimetres approximately. It has a very large front opening door, so has excellent access, and comes with a rat tube, which is a good sized tube or toy for a Syrian. It has 1 centimetre bar spacing approximately, so it's only suitable for Syrian hamsters. But there is also a cage, the Marchioro Kevin, which is virtually the same with 7mm bar spacing, and this one would be suitable for dwarf hamsters. The Goran is available in the US at Dr. Foster & Smith and is one of the very few cages available in the US, which is a suitable size for hamsters. At number 5 is the Kerry Terrarium. The Kerry Terrarium is from Zooplus, and it's a glass tank with a cage-type lid which has 7mm bar spacing on the lid. The whole lid hinges up at the back, and there is also a door in the centre of the lid. It measures 75 centimetres by 45 centimetres deep and is 37 centimetres high. This is a good tank for a single dwarf hamster. It is also suitable for a small Syrian hamster, but something bigger would be better for a Syrian, and there is a limited height for a Syrian-sized wheel, which restricts the depth of substrate in the wheel area of the cage, when one of the advantages of a glass tank is to be able to have deep substrate for a hamster to dig tunnels. The Kerry Terrarium is available in the UK and Europe. At number 4 is the Savic Mickey 2XL. This is the cage I have. It's basically a hamster heaven, but with smaller bar spacing of 7mm, and it has no tubes or penthouse. It comes with a metal grid shelf which needs removing, as that is bad for hamsters' feet and can cause a condition called bumblefoot. It also comes with a small Sputnik and some in-cage tubes. The tubes are very narrow mouse-sized ones and not suitable for a Syrian hamster. Ours got stuck in them. It's a great cage, strong and sturdy, with the same big front opening door that the hamster heaven has. The dimensions are the same as the hamster heaven, 80 centimetres wide by 50 centimetres deep by 38 centimetres high. Internal height is about 36 centimetres. This cage is suitable for both Syrian and dwarf hamsters with its narrow bar spacing and low height. It does fit a 12-inch wheel, but that takes up a fair bit of space in the cage. I personally feel a 100cm or larger cage would be better for a Syrian hamster, but this is still a good basic hamster cage for both Syrian and dwarf hamsters. At number 3 is the Ferplast Maxi Duna Multy. This is the largest of the Ferplast Duna Perspex tank-style cages. It measures 99 centimetres by 51.5 centimetres deep by 36 centimetres tall. It's a great-sized habitat for either a Syrian or dwarf hamster, or a pair of dwarf hamsters if you don't want a barred cage. You can see your hamster easily, and it has a nice deep base for a good depth of substrate. It will fit a 12-inch wheel, but only just, so this limits the depth of substrate in the wheel area. It is top opening, but the top is a very large door, so access is still good, and the door is big enough that you can put in your arm at an angle, i.e. coming from the side rather than the top, as hamsters often don't like hands coming from the top, so a large opening is good. The Ferplast Maxi Duna Multy is basically the same as the larger Zoo Zone, the main difference being that the Duna Multy has very narrow bar spacing on the grid and doesn't need meshing, whereas the Zoo Zone has large bar spacing and needs meshing to prevent escapes. Number 2 is the Barney cage from Zooplus. The Barney cage is now 100 centimetres rather than the 80 centimetres it used to be. It measures 100 centimetres wide by 55 centimetres deep by 45 centimetres high. The internal height is about 43 centimetres. It has 7mm bar spacing and comes with a shelf and a good-sized hamster house. It's more flexible for setting up than the Alexander in my opinion, but the cage itself is similar except being a few centimetres lower than the Alexander and with a flat top, so the roof space is more usable for Sputniks and roof toys. Although the roof space is still limited due to the large top opening door, there is plenty of space around the edges for roof toys. It also has 2 smaller doors at the front. To me, this is what a basic hamster cage should be, 100 centimetres minimum length, so plenty of room for a good-sized house for digging, roaming, foraging, tunnels, tubes and toys, and substrate can be filled to the bottom of the base and piled high in the middle, so it can be reasonably deep for digging. Substrate doesn't fall out of the bars as easily with a 7mm bar spacing, so you don't have to worry about having it too high. It's suitable for both Syrian and Dwarf hamsters, but the height is still a bit of a fall risk, so deep substrate is needed, and any hard floor toys need to be under something ideally, i.e. under the shelf or a Sputnik, and an additional shelf or grass hammock would help too. It will easily fit an 11-inch or 12-inch Syrian wheel. And my number 1, which is something I don't have and would like, is the D12. The D12 is a DIY cage, but it's one of the few you can buy commercially and do a bit of DIY rather than doing DIY from scratch. It's a hack from an IKEA D12 glass cabinet which is tipped on its side with the glass door left off, and you need to make 2 lids from pieces of wood and mesh. Most people make 2 lids rather than one big one as it's easier to remove them. It measures approximately 163 centimetres long by 43 centimetres deep by 37 centimetres high. It only costs about £40, so it gives a great sized habitat for the price. The price increases if you buy 2 of the 4x4 Kallax storage units to stand it on. But then the Kallax units are a good place to stand it. They help it look good and they provide storage underneath. The D12 is suitable for both Syrian and Dwarf hamsters and can even be partitioned into 2 to make 2 80cm habitats. It allows for areas of deep substrate for digging and plenty of space for different areas and levels, room for a big house or hide, and plenty of toys and tunnels. I believe a 29cm wheel will fit with the lid on, but I'm not sure about a 12-inch wheel, as some height is lost by the lid sitting on the inner bars. If you have the space, it's a great hamster habitat. If your hamster is a chewer though, a 4-foot aquarium might be a better option, as the D12 has a metal bar frame and wood type end pieces. That's my top 10 hamster cages for 2016. Thank you and bye for now.